Hey everybody, it's CR with Everyday Life in Arizona. I hope you're doing well. It's early April, the temperatures are already rising, and in just a couple of days, we're going to be at 100 degrees. And sorry to all my friends in the northern states that still have snow on the ground, but maybe that's your thing. Here in Arizona, it's time for the heat, and it's time for me to drain and refill my pool with fresh water. If you aren't familiar with pool ownership in Arizona, every third year you want to drain and refill your pool with fresh water. We have very hard water here, and that hardness impacts the quality of the pool water, the quality of the pool itself, and the effectiveness of the chemicals. So this is the third year. It's time to get it drained and refilled. I've had it done by someone else in the past, but I wanted to save that expense and also do it myself just to have a fun DIY project. It's really not hard, and I wanted to knock it out. So come along for the journey. We'll drain it, refill it, clean the 4 cartridge filters that are in the pool filter system, as well as get it ramped back up with its new chemicals as we start the year with fresh water. First thing we want to do is turn the power off to the pump. Now that we're draining the pool, you don't want it to come back on overnight. So I'm going to open this panel, and I'm going to go to right there, filter pump, and I'm going to turn that off. So now the pump will come on. I run a schedule of 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. 7 days a week. It's been like that forever since we've had the pool. It works great, but I won't get it drained and filled back today, so I don't want it to come on tonight. In fact, it'll probably take into the second day, or actually, I guess the third day, second night, and I don't want the pool to come back on. So turn that off, make sure that the pump is off, and then I'm going to go over to the automatic fill valve shut off to make sure that that's off so it doesn't try to refill itself while I'm draining it. My fill valve is over here on the side of the house, and that's my beautiful jasmine bush. It's doing quite well, actually. But back here behind it, that first valve is a hose bib valve. You see the hose actually. But the pool fill valve is right here. It's in the parallel position to the pipe, in line with the pipe. That means it's on. You turn it off so you can see it's a visual perpendicular now, and that will prevent the automatic fill valve from trying to refill the pool while I'm draining it. And after the pool is drained, I will turn this back on like that and use the hose and fill her back up. This is our pool. The water looks good. It's nice and clear, and it's chlorinated well, and there's no algae problems. But what you fight here in Arizona is the hard water. And the water just gets so hard that it's just hard to overcome, and it messes with your chemicals and causes you to use more chlorine. And so it's time to change the water out to fresh. For me to do it myself, this is what I've got. This is what I rented from Home Depot. That is a submersible pump, heavy duty, that's designed to help drain pools, and the discharge hoses. You can go with a smaller submersible pump that will take longer, or you can amp things up and go with a trash pump, which could do, I think, about 210 gallons per minute, last time I looked that up. So I went with this middle route. This is rated at 2,000 gallons per hour. I've got 14,000 gallons, so I'm thinking around 7 hours should be the case. Home Depot, I thought, had a great price. This guy right here cost me $50 for a 24-hour rental plus tax. And I did get the $7 insurance protection in case I messed something up on it. So I thought that was pretty reasonable to give me some coverage. The discharge hoses are 2-inch, and those are 3 50-foot lengths. Home Depot's great. They don't charge you for those. And I asked if I could have 3. They said, sure. I believe from my measurements, and we'll find out here in just a few minutes when I run the hose out, I believe I need to cover about 110 to 115 feet. So I went ahead and got 3. Now, if you don't know how this works, if you're not a pool owner, I'm going to put that pump right in the middle of the pool. It's electric, so you leave the connection to your extension cord above it. I'll show that next. And for me, my drain clean out is on the front of the house. So I'll be running this 2-inch discharge hose down the side of the house, through a hole in the wall, and into the front, and I'll show you all of that next. let's drain this pool. All right, here we are in the front yard, and that is the sewer clean out. I thought it had a hex head that I could use some slip joint pliers to grab it with, but it's got a slot in it. So I grabbed a plastic scraper, which is going to work okay. Yeah. Okay. And that is the drain clean out. All right, I'm going to fish this down here with one hand. And I'm probably going to put it down in a couple of feet. I am aware that you have to moderate the flow of the pump because you don't want the water to come back up and out. But I know there's been no problem with using this clean out in the past. In fact, that's what the city wants you to use versus draining the water on the street. I just want to make sure that we get a good flow. So a quick little point here on the hose. You can see I've got it coming from the backyard. That's our herb garden, by the way, and vegetables, lettuce, cilantro, peppers and such. But it runs down the side of the house. And the trick is to make sure there's no kinks. Think garden hose, except much bigger and stronger and harder to fight with. And I had a couple of kinks I had to get straightened out to get the water flowing. I'm going to go back to the front to make sure all is well. And I'll come back. Here we are on the front side of the house, and I did get all the kinks out from the back to the front. And I'll show you real quick. I did this sweeping motion to help prevent it from kinking up. I see I got one right over there. But I did the large sweep to prevent kinks. I don't know how to prevent the one there where it drops down into a 90 degree from running horizontally to vertically down in the pipe. I wish I had a 2-inch PVC elbow. I'm not sure if that would be compatible with the 2-inch metal end of that discharge hose. I looked in my shed, I don't have one. So we're getting a little bit of water restriction there at the end, but it's flowing great. It may take a little bit longer than I thought, but that's okay. The setup was not too bad. Just gotta get the kinks. And there's what's happening. So that's the right way to discharge your pool water, at least here. There is chlorine in it. I've been maintaining it up until this point. Didn't want it to turn green. So much better to go down the sewer system as opposed to out in the street. All right, everybody, 5.5 hours later, it's done. Got the hose running. Not exactly sure how long it's going to take, but I'm going to let it run overnight and not worry about it. But she's clean, hosed her down. I'm going to paint with some touch-up paint that tomorrow. I'll show you. The water line won't be that high yet, but I want it to be good and dry before I paint it with that concrete touch-up paint. Hey everybody, it's the next day. I started filling the pool at 8:30 p.m. last night. It's about 12:30 p.m. right now. So what's that, about 16 hours? 12 plus 4, yeah. It looks like we're a little over halfway, 2/3 maybe. Should be done another 4 or 5 hours. It took me 6 hours to drain and maybe 18 to refill. I touched up the rock, you can see. That turned out well. I'm still working on some of the tile on the sides, and we'll get the pump clean next. Let me show you, actually. I'm going to clean the filters. It's time for that. I don't know that I can film it and do it. I'm going to take the lid off of the canister, pull out the 4 cartridges, and show you how I clean them. Now we're going to clean the pool filters. I have 4 cartridges inside the canister, and I'll pull those out, show you how in just a second. I'm not sure I can film and work on it, but I'm going to show you as I clean them and take the top off, get them out, put them back on, and I'll try to show you some of those steps. This nut right here holds the tension band on. It's a 7/8 nut. Got my 7/8 inch socket and ratchet, and I'll pull that off and then pull the band off around it. Once you loosen it up, it's pretty easy to turn it once you take the tension off that spring. But it has a long shaft behind the nut that has to thread off. Okay, pro tip, make sure you don't lose anything. I like to put it in the exact order it comes off. The nut, the washer, the spring, the other washer. Set that back nice and safe. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. There's usually some tension on here. In fact, this is not the right tool for this. I should have a little hammer. Never use a tool for what it's not meant to be, but I'm gonna give it a little whack right there. See it loosened up a little bit? Yeah. Let me see if I can do it. I hate using that as a hammer. But I have to hit it a little bit on this side. Well, that's probably terrible camera work. Sorry about that. But you can see how that comes off. Let's see if I can keep it going here. And I'm going to use my second hand and take that off and then lift the lid. Don't forget to take the pressure off. I don't have any because the pool has been drained, so the pipes have already bled out, or else you would hear that air pressure release. Give it a little wiggle, and I grab low. I don't want to grab high to damage that. I grab low, and voila. Dirty filters. Pull off the top, set it to the side so I don't lose it. Set my lid to the side and pull one out. Now, yeah, look at, oh, that's nasty. I'm embarrassed by that dirt just ringing out. All right, I'm gonna spray them down first. I'll show you this cleaner. I've used it one other time. It worked good. There's several options available, Amazon or the pool store, but this worked out good. And a little pre-treat. A little pre-treat on that, and we'll let it set. And then we'll spray it off. I use the bucket, by the way, just to raise the filter up. I used to do them on the ground and finally realized why am I bent over and pointing down. So sometimes I'll use this 5-gallon bucket. Sometimes I'll use a larger planter that I've got a couple extra of. They're both in use now, but it's like a 2-foot or maybe even a 30-inch plastic planter that's empty. I turn it upside down and it raises it even more. But that gives you some room to work with versus pointing the hose down and kind of being hunched over by putting it on something. All right, here we go. Yeah, that's embarrassing. They were overdue. Should have done them in the winter. I didn't. I just waited to get ready for spring. But you can see, up and down. When I get done filming, I'll take my free hand and I'll rotate it around. And I'll also turn it upside down to get it in the other direction too. All right, not much else to see there. I'll knock out these 4 and come back when it's time to put it all back inside the filter system. Well, I got the first one done.
and I'm excited to do the rest of them to get it nice and clean for the new clean water. You may be wondering how often you change these filters. I do it really by sight, but roughly every 2 years. I clean them quarterly, or at least I try to, and I've maybe gone 2.5 years the last time, but the pleating in the material still seems to be in good shape. It's not tearing or coming apart. So I'll try to get a few more months out of them, but if not, I may make a decision when I'm done with all 4 of these to get some new ones for the summertime, maybe in June. But that's the first one clean. Nice difference. Okay, we're back running again. Hope the sound is okay with it running. I wanted to mention, to make sure as part of you cleaning your filters, to also clean the 2 strainer baskets. This is the pump basket. It's the last thing before the water goes into the pump, as you can see. And this is the drain strainer basket. It's about 2 feet deep. I got the tension band on nice and tight. There is no leaking, which is always, you can check. I did clean the seal, the rubber gasket seal around it and the lip to make sure there was no debris that would keep it from seating tightly. So we're good to go with the cartridges and the 2 strainers back here. The pool is full. It took about 25, 26 hours to get it back full. 6 hours to drain it, I think it was. And now we're back. So we're going nice and clear. I just put some chlorine in it and some shock to get it stabilized again quickly. And you can see it moving pretty good. If you've ever got flow problems, if your waterfall is not at the rate that you think it should be, or any of the return outlets around the pool, then you may have dirty filters. It certainly impedes it. That, or you could have a skimmer door that's stuck closed. The little touch-up paint came out good. You can see where I touched it up down at the bottom. And the tile turned out okay. Still some white lines, but not too bad. I want to comment about 2 more things. You might see down here that head right there, and another one over here and on the step. There's 18 of them in the pool. I saw somebody on Reddit just within the last week that bought a new Phoenix house, or that bought a Phoenix home that had a pool, and they asked what those heads were. That's an in-ground cleaning system. When we built the pool 9 years ago, that was an option, and we paid extra for it. I think it's been great. Some folks don't like it because they say the heads fail. We've had 0 heads fail in 9 years since the pool was built. We have had to have the impeller replaced twice. That's the drive unit that's backed by the pump that spins and that makes the heads pop up in zones. I think there's 5 or 6 zones, kind of like your sprinkler system, that they pop up, they run, and then they pop back down. But the pool company that we used warranted the in-ground cleaning system for life. So the 2 impeller replacements we've had were no charge, and if a head ever goes bad, as long as we are the original owner, I should say, I don't think that warranty follows to a different owner, but we have been the original owner. So I think they work great. I don't have to brush the pool quite as much. It keeps things clean off of the bottom, and we've had 0 issues. Secondly, talking about all that sand and dirt you saw in the pool filter cartridges, we have terrible sandstorms here. In fact, the real heavy ones are called haboobs. You can Google that if you want. Don't worry, it won't take you to a site that you don't want to go to. But these real thick, heavy sandstorms where you can't see across the street. You got to go inside and shut the doors, and you don't want to be outside. I think this is a wrap on the pool draining, refilling, and filter cartridge cleaning. I'm ready for the spring and summer swim season. Hey, I appreciate everybody staying till the end. I hope it was helpful. Hope it was good content. Appreciate any feedback that you might have, and I'll see you next time.